My workaholic wife had finally agreed to spend the holidays with my family. The sheer elation of it had me booking the first flight that night. 7 years of emergency meetings and non-negotiable deadlines had given way to a sliver of hope, and I clung to it like a life raft. But by midnight at the airport gate, she was still a no-show. Minutes before boarding closed, the familiar text arrived. Apologies, babe. Emergency exec meeting called last minute with the partners. Non-negotiable. Next year, I promise, we will spend the holidays with your folks. I did not get angry. I just felt the familiar, dull thud of disappointment and typed a simple okay. I decided to fly out anyway and pay my respects to her parents, the Martins, in her close-knit, upstate hometown of Pine Ridge. When I arrived that evening, lugging bags full of artisanal cheeses and imported wine, I stood on the Martins' porch and heard my father-in-law's booming laugh from inside. Another round. Son, come on, my son-in-law. The bags of holiday gifts slammed onto the porch. Crash. The noise must have carried through the door, startling the neighbors who were already milling about. The front door swung open and a young man poked his head out. What the hell? His tone was immediately aggressive. He pointed a finger at me, already launching into a tirade. The hell are you doing lurking around someone's house on Christmas Eve? Trying to steal something? I knew him. The face was too familiar. He was a college kid, Travis Stone, that Skylar and I had interviewed when Mortec was just starting. Skylar wanted to pass on him. His resume was weak. I had argued for him, citing his high emotional intelligence. I convinced her to hire him. My father-in-law's voice echoed again from inside. Son, who is it? Finish up and get back in here. Dinner's getting cold. Got it, Dad. Be right there. Travis smiled, turning to answer. I opened my mouth, but the word, son-in-law, still rang in my ears. It was not meant for me. It was clearly meant for him. Seeing my silence, Travis grew impatient, stepping forward. I asked you a question. Do you know whose house this is? Do you know who you are talking to? He puffed out his chest, a sickening mix of smugness and arrogance, replacing his initial irritation. My wife is Skylar Moore, CEO of Mortec. Get lost, or I am calling the cops. I had been bracing myself, but hearing her name on his lips still felt like a physical punch. The freezing air burned my throat. My voice was dry, a sandpaper rasp. You said Skylar Moore is your wife? Damn right. I lifted my head, forcing the boiling rage down into a cold, hard knot. I met his eyes. What a coincidence. Because I am Skylar Moore's legal, notarized, 7 years and counting husband. Travis laughed, a sharp, dismissive sound, as if I just told a terrible joke. Who does not know that the Martins' golden boy, the son-in-law, is me, Travis Stone? Where did a scrub like you crawl out of, trying to pull a stunt like this? His voice was loud, ensuring the cluster of neighbors who gathered due to the commotion could hear. They started murmuring. The neighbors' comments were like needles dipped in ice. For 7 years, every holiday, every family event, she claimed to be too busy. Critical partners, emergency projects. I always believed her, felt sorry for her relentless schedule, even poured money into her company to ease the burden. I quietly invested at least $15 million, creating and patenting 90% of the core technology that built Mortec. Yet, she was always too busy for me, and now I knew why. She had not been working. She, been here, playing house with her lover. Travis looked at me with open scorn. You pathetic wannabe. You think you can swagger around here? I can make one call, and Mortec will make sure your family loses everything. My family. For Skylar's dream, I had put my own life on hold, refusing to inherit the Graham Group, choosing to work anonymously from our home office, pouring my genius and my capital into lifting Mortec into a major player. And now, this little sneak, a mid-level manager's kid, was using my company to threaten me. All reason snapped. I lunged forward. My fist slammed into the center of his arrogant face. A sickening thud and Travis cried out, stumbling back and hitting the doorframe. Hez hitting him. A neighbor shrieked. He attacked our Martins' son-in-law. Get him out of here. Several men who had clearly been drinking their Christmas punch rushed forward, yelling, everyone on him. Get this troublemaker out. Protect Travis. 4 or 5 guys swarmed me. Fists flew. Someone grabbed my arm. I was quickly overpowered and pinned to the cold ground. Travis, his eyes red and his face already swelling, grabbed a rusty snow shovel propped against the wall. You are going to regret that, asshole. He raised the shovel high over his head, ready to bring it down. Just then, the commotion brought the rest of the occupants rushing out. The moment Skylar saw me, her face went utterly, terrifyingly pale. Spencer Graham, what are you doing here? That gasp stopped Travis mid-swing. Skylar stood there, frozen. Mr. and Mrs. Martin, my in-laws, stumbled out behind her, faces flushed with wine. I did not answer. I just looked at her. Then at the stunned faces of her parents. My mother-in-law frowned, studying me critically. Who is this man, Skylar? Fighting on our doorstep. Do you know him? My father-in-law, his face suddenly stern, glanced at me, pinned on the ground. His voice was laced with menace. Some piece of trash causing trouble at the Martin home. I managed a choked, hoarse laugh. 7 years. Are you so forgetful, old man, that you do not recognize your own son-in-law? Did the gourmet holiday baskets I sent you every year just get thrown out with the garbage? My mother-in-law's eyes widened, a flicker of memory passing through them, but she quickly masked it with outrage. Stop your nonsense. We have never met you. Do not you dare try to claim kin here. My father-in-law instantly backed her up, pointing at me for the neighbors. We only have one son-in-law. Travis. He comes every year. You all know him. This man. We have never seen him before in our lives. Hear that? Trash. One of the men holding me down sneered. The Martins do not even know you. You have no shame, man. Skylar's face was a mottled mix of red and white. She finally spoke, her voice strained. Spencer, just leave. We can talk about this later. Later, I wrenched against the men holding me, forcing them to tighten their grip. I stared up at her, my eyes blazing, right now in front of everyone. Tell me the truth. Am I, Spencer Graham, your husband or not? Skylar's lips trembled. Her gaze darted everywhere but to mine. She could not speak. The neighbors exchanged nervous glances, their murmuring growing louder. The deadlock was broken by a child's high-pitched cry. Bad man. Do not you dare hurt my mommy and daddy. A little boy, maybe 5 or 6, rushed out of the house, scrambling into Travis' arms. He turned and spread his tiny arms wide, trying to shield Travis and Skylar. He glared at me. You are a bad man. Go away. Do not touch my mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy. I stared blankly at the child, then slowly turned my stiff neck to Skylar. She instinctively pulled the boy tight into her embrace, burying her face in his small shoulder. It's okay, baby. Mommy's here. Skylar had told me she was infertile, that she could not carry a child. Looking at the boy's face, so strikingly like like hers. I let out a cold, hollow sound that might have been a laugh. She was not infertile. She just could not have children with me. The neighbors, emboldened by Skylar's hesitation, grew bolder in their whispers, hearing the gossip. The Martins' faces turned the color of bruised plums. Mrs. Martin shrieked, pointing her finger right at my nose. Silence. What are you all saying? My Skylar is a respectable woman. Her chest heaved, and she pointed at me again. This man is a liar. Has a nobody. He drives a faded, old Volvo, for God's sake. My daughter is the CEO of Mortec. Why would she ever look twice at a loser like him? Mr. Martin stepped forward, his voice vicious. Look at this little opportunist, clearly trying to break up a family. Travis is our real son-in-law, the son of a major Mortec partner. Young and rich. Nobody would choose this bum over him. They piled on the insults, tearing me down while elevating Travis to the heavens. But one line snagged in my mind. The son of a major partner. Every major partner Mortec had was a subsidiary of the Graham Group, my family's empire. None of them were named Stone. Before I could process the thought, Skylar's face had reached a fever pitch of panic. The gossip and her parents' hysterical defense had pushed her to the wall. She suddenly lifted her head, making a clear decision. She thrust the little boy into her mother's arms, pointed at me, and shouted, Spencer Graham, are you done yet? How many times have I told you? We are finished. I have a family now, a husband, a son. Can you stop chasing me around like a crazy ex? Is this pathetic stalking really worth it? Have you no shame at all? Travis, who had been listening, first looked confused. Then a triumphant realization dawned on him. He rushed over, his arm swinging wide, and delivered a sharp, cracking slap across my face. Crack. My cheek stung with fire, and my ears rang. Travis pointed at my nose, spittle flying. He looked righteous, furious. So, you are the pathetic loser Skylar mentioned. The obsessive ex who would not leave her alone. I heard she had some worthless guy constantly harassing her, but I did not know it was this bad. You have the audacity to show up here. I will teach you a lesson you will not forget. He was truly enraged now. He lifted his foot and kicked me hard in the ribs. The force of the blow felt like my internal organs had shifted. I coughed, spitting a mouthful of blood onto the ground. I gritted my teeth against the pain and fumbled in my pocket. With my non-dominant hand, I quickly tapped out a message with my location to Damon Lewis, my father's chief of staff. Travis cracked his knuckles and walked toward me. Skylar followed. Spencer, I warned you. You chose to humiliate yourself. Do not blame us for what happens next. Mr. Martin spat on the ground near my head. Worthless pig. Almost shamed my daughter. Get out of here. Mrs. Martin chimed in with cruel glee. Skylar, Travis, what is there to say to him? Just teach him that he cannot cross the Martins. Hear that? Travis seized my collar and dragged me roughly to the center of the yard. The in-laws have spoken today. I teach you respect. Before I could brace myself, a heavy fist landed squarely in my abdomen. His blows rained down, brutal but calculated to hurt without killing. And this one is for my son, for trying to destroy his happy home. As Travis stepped back, winded, and I tried to push myself up, Skylar walked over. She ground the sharp toe of her stiletto heel down onto my outstretched fingers. Does that hurt, Spencer? She asked softly, looking down at me. For 7 years I watched you pretend to be a homebody doing research, acting like you sacrificed everything for me. It made me sick. Love does not pay the bills. Mr. Martin walked over and spat a thick wad of phlegm next to my head. A man who drives an old Volvo. You did not deserve my daughter. You should have been gone years ago. Travis, exhausted from the beating, signaled the two men who had held me earlier. Get him on his feet. They dragged me up, every part of me screaming in pain. Travis stood close, watching his smug, delusional arrogance. I managed a slow, cold smile. The timing was right. Since the day I was born, no one had dared to be this brazen with me. I was curious to see how many legs he had left to stand on. What the hell are you laughing at? Seeing my smile, Travis grabbed my collar and violently slammed the back of my head against the wall. My vision flashed white, then a spreading crimson. You will regret this. My voice was weak, but I forced my eyes up to his. Travis looked down with scorn, chuckling. Ha, I regret. How could I possibly? He stopped mid-sentence. His eyes went wide as he stared over my head. The rest of his sentence caught in his throat. I smiled again. Are you sure?